Now you can go ahead. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد إن أصدق حديث كتاب الله عز وجل وأحسن حديث محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر أمور محدثاتها وكل محدثات بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. All praise is due to Allah Azza wa Jal. We praise Him and we extol Him. And we seek refuge in Allah from evil within ourselves and evil results of our wrong actions. Whomsoever Allah guides, none can be left astray. And whomsoever Allah allows to be left in misguidance, and there's no guide for that individual. Verily, the most truthful of speech is the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. And the finest guidance is that of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And the most evil of affairs are the newly invented ones. For verily, every newly invented matter is a bid'ah, an evil innovation, and every bid'ah leads to the hellfire. As what follows, my dear brothers in Islam, today for our topic for this Jumah khutbah, inshallah, will be regarding the importance of returning back to the basics, back to the asas, the fundamentals of our deen. And why I've chosen this topic is because there's a lot of people nowadays who have been coming and complaining a lot about what they have seen or heard about in the media reports. And a lot of people have become more and more obsessed with the reports that they've seen or heard about on the media, without even realizing whether or not that if these reports are true or if these reports are false. And people have become so much obsessed with watching or being in tune with the world reports to the point that many people have started to suffer from mental illness and depression without even realizing it. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. This also is the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A lot of Muslims now have become so much engrossed in watching world news and finding out what's happening around the world and the political situations of what's happening in their home countries, to the point that they have become so much attached to it that they have become very stressed out and have developed an anxiety and falling into a lot of anxiety attacks because of what they've witnessed or heard about from the reports from their home countries. So as a result, a lot of our Muslim brothers and sisters have become very, very worked up, and they have developed a very serious anxiety problem within themselves because of the reports that they're watching or the news reports that they're hearing about on a regular basis. And those of us who do not end up in the mental hospital, they end up coming to the coffee shops, going to the coffee shops and de-stressing on people who they meet, or coming to the masajid and as a result arguing or de-stressing, letting out their stress on whomsoever they meet who would be willing to lend them an ear and listen to them. So, as I said, my dear brothers in Islam, we want to talk about the importance of returning back to the basics, the fundamentals of our deen, because the majority of us, if not all of us, after hearing about these reports in the media or watching it on the television, we have no idea whether these reports are true or not. We have no idea. So here today, I want all of us to understand that much more than reporting or conveying this information, it's much more important for us to know and verify the report and the source of this information. Because as Muslims, we should know. And if we do not know, today inshallah, you should know, and you can find out for yourselves that the news reports that we're getting, as they say, as it happens, live, all of that is kadhib. We have to know that. The reports that they're claiming to be live and as it happens is all doctored up, because they cannot just report news live and as it happens to the public. That is illegal. The news has to go through a lot of hurdles and loops before it comes to the eyes and ears of the public. There's a lot of finances, there's a lot of money that is being poured into those news reports way before it even reaches to the public eyes and ears. So, what I want us to do today, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, is just stop and cut out all of the noise from these so-called authentic news reports, because we have to know that, as they say, as it happens, live, it's all kadhib, it's a lie, because they cannot report things just as it happens and live. It has to go through a lot of filtering out. The reports in the media has to go through a filtration process before it can land on the eyes and ears of the public. The Prophet ﷺ said in some ahadith, it has been quoted that the Prophet ﷺ said, "Min husn Islam al-mar tarku ma la ya'ni." From a person's good Islam is that they leave alone that which does not concern them. So convey this message to our Muslim brothers and sisters who are so much engrossed and caught up in wanting to know about every situation that's taking place around the world, as if we have the solution for all of the problems in the world. And it's true that we do not. We do not have the solution. So why are we taking in all of that stress, that unnecessary stress and anxiety, and then looking for somebody to pour it out on? Allah Azza wa Jal tells us in the Quran, "La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wasaha." Allah Azza wa Jal does not place a burden. He has not placed a burden on a soul more than it can bear. So why are we placing this unnecessary and undue burden upon ourselves to want to know about every single report which is happening? It's become an addiction. Without even realizing it, we have so many Muslims in the world today. We're not talking about people in general, but as I mentioned, we want to return back to the basis of our deen. We need to return back to the asas, the foundation of our deen. Why are we getting ourselves so caught up in every single news report of what's happening? And we have to be in front of the TV, or we have to be at a radio right when that certain time for that news to happen. And as I mentioned before, and I'll always mention, that this is not true. As they say, as they claim, as it happens, as they say and as they claim, it's live, and as it happens, it's all kadhib. We have to try and see within ourselves, before we take it upon ourselves to convey this message, are these reports authentic? We have to find out. And there's ways that we can find out. And find out if these reports are true or if they're false. Because before we're going to get into that mindset of trying to figure out the solution to all of the problems in the world, we must first and foremost return back to the asas, the foundation of our deen. What we really need to start doing before anything else is just understand. We need to have a good, firm, clear understanding of what is halal and what is haram, what is sunnah, what is bid'ah, what is tawheed, and what is shirk. So my dear brothers in Islam and Iman, we as Muslims, we need to first be on a common ground as Muslimin, because we have Muslims who are fighting and we're bickering about petty things on a regular basis. We have to understand that knowing whether the information that we're conveying to another person is true or false is from the foundation of our deen. For without verifying information before conveying it to somebody else is a great sin in Islam. And this isn't some special branch of knowledge that is only for the imams or some specialized scholars. This is knowledge which is for all of us to have. We must all know that it is totally forbidden. It is haram, muharram, to convey information about a person, a situation, or something that we heard without first verifying that report. We should not be quick to take in information and be just as quick to judge the people who have been reported about in the situation without first verifying this. Because as I mentioned, there's many Muslims who are in the regular habit of turning on the news reports, whether it's on TV or on the radio. And as a result, they're becoming very, very depressed. And those who are suffering from anxiety, severe anxiety attacks, those who do not end up in the mental hospital. And this is not something I'm just saying. This is something that I've witnessed, because I've been to the mental hospitals and I've visited many Muslims on many occasions, stressed out, strapped down, and foaming at the mouth. Why? Because of some things that they've seen or some things that they've heard, and they have no idea whether these things are true or false. And let's just say, for argument's sake, that there is some truth to what they have been reported. There is some truth to what they have heard. Why are we taking on the stresses of the world as if we have the solutions to everything that happens? Remember, Allah Azza wa Jal, He created us for a noble purpose. And the first obligation we have is to ourselves. As Allah Azza wa Jal says, Qu anfusikum wa ahlikum nara. Allah Azza wa Jal says, save yourselves and your families from the fire of hell. Whose fuel is men and stones. So you will find people, they'll come to you and they'll bring up an issue that they heard about on the news or they've seen, that they say this is live, this is happening, this is true. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Remember, Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran about these type of reports, Allah Azza wa Jalla calls them a najwa. Allah Azza wa Jalla says in Surah Baqarah, Innama najwa min ash-shaytan. Innama najma min ash-shaytan. Allah Azza wa Jalla says that these reports, remember what I said, my dear brothers and sisters, that the majority of the things that we hear and we see in the media and in the news are all kadhib. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, Innama najwa min ash-shaytan. That these secret meetings and these reports that we are hearing and witnessing and seeing are from the shaitan. لِيَحْسُنَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, so as to make the believers upset, so as to get the believers saddened by these reports. وَلَيْسَ بِضَارِّهِمْ مِنْ شَيْءٍ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And they will never ever come to and have an effect on the true believers. They will never have any effect on the true believers. This is what Allah says. Except for those who Allah allows them to be affected by such reports. This is by the permission of Allah Azza wa Jal. There are many ahadith. There's many ayats stating that it is forbidden and it is not permissible for Muslims to just convey any information that comes to them. Because as Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in this noble ayat, Karima, in Surah Baqarah, that these reports that are most of the time, 90% of the time, are doctored up reports. So as to what? Upset the believers. As to what? Make the believers upset and become sad and become depressed about the situation. They'll see things and they'll hear things about their country, and 90% of what they're seeing or hearing is a lie. It's only set up so as to cause us to become distressed or to experience anxiety. There's a hadith and word of the Prophet Abu Hurairah that said, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Iyakum, beware of, or be wary of." He says in this noble hadith, we should be wary of, and we should watch out for. Iyakum wadh-dhann, beware of suspicious matters. فَإِنَّ الظَّنَّ أَكْذَبُ الْحَدِيثِ. Beware. Iyakum wadh-dhann. Iyakum wadh-dhann. He said this ﷺ 3 times. Iyakum wadh-dhann. فَإِنَّ الظَّنَّ أَكْذَبُ الْحَدِيثِ. That these suspicious things, suspicious matters, are the most lying of all forms of speech. There are many Muslims, as I mentioned in the beginning of this khutbah, there are many Muslims, and I'm sure well-intended, but they don't realize that they're becoming sick because of the addiction of always wanting to be tuned in to the media. You have many Muslims who are coming to an imam, asking them questions, myself, and I'm sure many other imams, asking about situations that they've heard about on the radio or they have seen on TV, without even knowing if it is true or false. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. They are coming full of stress and anxiety because of what they've seen or they've heard, and they have no idea whether it's true or not. They're saying it's live and as it happens, and they have no idea whether what they've seen or heard is true. It's not because these people say that it's true. That doesn't make it true. It doesn't make that it's valid. We have to first validate the source of the information before we can even take in that information. Is this person who's reporting information to us a person who we should take information from in the first place? This is what we should know for us, first and foremost. Because as the Prophet ﷺ said, كَفَى بِمَرْ كَاذِبًا أَن تَقُولُونَ كُلَّ مَا تَسْمَعُونَ. It's enough for a person to be considered a liar, to convey every bit of information that they hear. So for us to be as men or as women, as real men or real women, because it's become a quality, they say, of women to be in the habit of gossiping. They say that women like to gossip a lot. Now they're saying the same thing about men. So what is the difference? We as Muslims should not be in the habit of carrying news and information without first verifying that information. We have to, my dear brothers in Islam and Iman, return back to the basics, the asas of our deen. We should not be in the habit of carrying gossip, carrying rumors, and we do not have any idea whether what we've seen or heard is true. Aren't we tired of hearing about our youth becoming radicalized? Aren't we saddened? Aren't we tired of hearing about another one of our youths coming in the media, or they've gone missing or becoming radicalized? We have to shut off the noise. Now is the time, my dear brothers in Islam, before we hear about another group or another few of our youth running off and becoming radicalized. Aren't we tired of hearing that? Aren't we tired of people labeling Muslims as radicals or as terrorists? We are the ones who are adding gas to the fire by spreading the news reports that we hear from these people. These people are not the truth. These people do not verify the truth. because they have all of the control over the satellite. It doesn't make them it doesn't make them more powerful than Allah. So my dear brothers in Islam, Allah Azza wa Jalla, He has given us very, very straightforward, fundamental and basic pretext in our deen. We have a very, very simple and straightforward characteristic as Muslims. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He tells us in the Quran, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَأْتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He tells us, establish the prayer. And we know that most Muslims, they do not establish the prayer. They pray in convenience. They pray out of convenience sake. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, أَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَأْتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. Give the poor due. Give charity. Obey Allah's messenger so that we will receive mercy. This is just the basic starting point for us as Muslims. Muslims are in the bad habit of not establishing their prayer. And they do not want to give a zakat. They don't want to follow the sunnah. But they're quick to judge and they're quick to carry information about things that they've heard or they've seen. And they know that it's probably all propaganda. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So if we want and we ever expect to have the rahmah of Allah Azza wa Jal, then let us return back to the fundamentals of our deen before it's too late. Bismillah, wa salatu salam, ala Rasulullah, wa ala alihi huda wa ba'd. We all know of the situation that our brothers and sisters are facing in Bilad al-Sham. We all know what's happening with the brothers and sisters in Palestine, in Syria, and many other parts of the Middle East and in Africa. There's a lot of things that are happening in the world. But we here, there isn't much that we can do about those things. But the least that we can do is make dua. If we hear of any situation that is occurring, any bad situation that is occurring, we should make dua and praise Allah Azza wa Jal that Allah is keeping us safe. And we have to ask Allah Azza wa Jal to keep us and our families safe. Allahumma ameen. But if we hear of atrocities taking place anywhere in the world, and we know it's happening, it's going on in Palestine, that's been going on for so many years. We don't need any reports to tell us what's going on in Palestine. We know what's happening over there. We have to make dua for them. It's not going to help them by us sitting down in the coffee shops and complaining to somebody about what's going on in Palestine. We've heard what's going on in Gaza. We need to make dua for them. And if we can help them, we should help them. If we have any capability to help them, but there's anything that is better help than making dua. Raising your hands and making sincere dua for those brothers and sisters who are suffering in Palestine and the Bilad al-Sham and in Syria and Damascus. There's a lot of suffering that's going on, and we don't need them to tell us or to patronize us by showing up brief clips here and there about what's taking place. We know what's going on over there. So we have to make dua for them. It's not upon us to overburden ourselves with things that we have no power within ourselves to change. But the least we can do is make dua. If we know of some halal and good agencies that are available that can help by sending food and clothing and financial support, then we should take part and help through those means. But it's not upon us, and we should not overburden ourselves by taking on the stress that is taking place around the world. But it's not going to help the situation. And a lot of our youth are becoming radicalized because we pour out the stress of what we're witnessing to our children. We shouldn't do that. We should not overburden them with the stressors of what's going on in other countries. My dear brothers in Islam, we have a very, very good example in the Prophet ﷺ. And Allah Azza wa Jalla says that in the Quran. وَلَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرَ وَذَكَرَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. Verily, in the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have an excellent mode of example for those whose hopes are in Allah in the last day. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went through a lot of adversity when he was in Mecca, and when he was in Medina, they went through a lot of difficulty. And a lot of the men who were with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went through difficulty. When they traveled, they went through difficulty. So we have to make dua for each other. It's not for us to overburden ourselves and to take on a lot of stress about what's happening in the world. We should try and make dua, and if we can find a halal means, halal agencies where we can help out our brothers and sisters who are suffering in any part of the world, in any situation, in any way that we can, we should try our best to help our brothers and sisters in Islam. There are many ayats, as I mentioned, and there's many ahadith pertaining to the importance of sticking to the fundamentals of the deen. And I hope and I pray that if we were to take anything from this khutbah today, we'll take that we shouldn't overburden ourselves. As Allah Azza wa Jalla says, La yukallifullahu nafsan illa was'aha. Allah Azza wa Jalla does not place a burden on a soul more than they can bear. So we as Muslims living here, we shouldn't feel too complacent. We shouldn't feel too complacent, because those lands were much more civilized than we are today here. But they went through, and they're going through the fitna that they're going through. And Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best that fitna is spreading all over the world. We know that. So what do we have to do? We have to hold on to the fundamentals, the asas, the foundation of our deen. And we have to teach our children to love Allah Azza wa Jalla and to love His Messenger. This is what we have to teach them. We don't have to teach them to become radical in their thinking and in their approach to Islam. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He says, for a simple example, the Prophet of Allah, Nuh, Allah Azza wa Jalla sent him to his people. And we know that he called his people in da'wah for over 950 years. 1,000 years less 50, calling his people. And Allah Azza wa Jalla says, what was the call of Nuh? Allah Azza wa Jalla says, فَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرَ رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَارًا. Nuh said, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, what was the call? What was the da'wah of Nuh alayhi salam? I said, I've only told them to seek istighfar. Ask Allah Azza wa Jal. Ask you, O Allah, for forgiveness, because He is the one who grants forgiveness. Innahu kana ghafara. This is what Nuh alayhi salam did for the whole time. He called them and he called his people to ask Allah for forgiveness. So my dear brothers in Islam, as we're sitting here in this land, we should ask Allah Azza wa Jal for forgiveness. We have the ability. And none of us has an excuse by saying that they're too busy or they're incapable and it's difficult for them to pray. We are not having bombs dropped on our head. There are people who are suffering severely in other places in the world, but still they find the time to pray. Let us ask Allah Azza wa Jal by His names, His Asma'ul Husna, wa Sifa'ul Uliya, by His blessed names and attributes, that Allah Azza wa Jal aghithna, that Allah Azza wa Jal, He showers on us His mercy and His rahmah. And He allows us to be of those who aqimuna salat. And He causes us to be of those who establish the prayer. Wa'tununa zakat. And of those who give the zakat regularly. And that we not become prideful. As the Prophet ﷺ said, Ni'matan. I'll leave us with this hadith. Ni'matan maghbulun fihima kathir min al-nas. As-sahha wal-faraq. That there are two blessings that most people they are unaware of or they lose, and that is good health and free time. He said, I want to leave us with this quote that a man said, two of the greatest moments in our lives. The first is when we were born, and the second is when we realize our purpose or why we are here. Believe me, my dear brothers in Islam, we were not created for just frolic and amusement, or to be worrywarts, or to have stress on ourselves and be complaining all the time. May Allah Azza wa Jal help us and bless the Ummah of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless us and protect us and guide us to all of the deeds that Allah Azza wa Jal loves and is pleased with. Inna Allah wa malaikatu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu tasliman. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barak ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وأقم الصلاة